Hey guys, it's Blaire, the Love Guru from loveguru.net and thealiennetwork.com. Today is April 5th, around 1 o'clock Eastern, New York time. And a few hours ago, there was just an earthquake in the tri state, which is New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, and we actually felt it here in Pennsylvania. I felt it. Yay, exciting. I've never felt an earthquake before. It was, I didn't know what it was actually. So we just had this inaugural, I don't know how to pronounce that correctly, event here by, let's say, the dark side. And shit's about to get real. So I just wanted to make an audio just to kind of share some thoughts that I've been having about what's going on, about maybe what's to come. I'll just see what comes up. I just felt like making a recording. So after I realized that this was an earthquake that just happened, I went on to our friend Google, being sarcastic there, and I typed in earthquake just to see what was going on. And within the last, I think it's been like 24 hours or so, there was, I'm just looking at my note, like at the images here, there was an earthquake in Japan. There was one in California. There's one in this, I don't know even what that area is called. Saipan, Saipan. No idea what that is. Maybe that's China. I'm not really sure what that is. A couple in Taiwan, and then the one in New York. And that's just the first page of it. So, I don't know what you're listening to, where you're getting your information from, but there's been a lot of crazy shit going on or preparing for around this. Oh, I'm getting a little choked up. I don't know what that's about. Around this earthquake. And I'm sorry, about around this eclipse. And there was a report that came out that was talking about how everybody, and this was like an official report to quote first responders, and saying that they should be ready by Thursday, the latest, with all their preps, full tank of gas, food, water, whatever you need to do to prepare. And again, I don't know where you're getting your information, but a lot of different states have already called a state of emergency around this eclipse. CERN is being turned on. NASA's like launching like 3 rockets. There's just like a lot of crazy weird shit. They were running a lot of practice, how they do their practice. Oh, I just forgot the word of it. Like they're not it's like first responders run not simulations, but I guess kind of simulations. They run like practice rounds. Yeah, I guess a simulation. If quote natural disasters happen. So there was all these like signs going on, and for the last several weeks, and if you were on my mailing list, you received notification about this a couple of times. But I was being guided very strongly. Hey, you better prepare, top up on your preps, because I really let that go over the last year or so. I've been moving a lot still, and I am sort of like in the center of a city, which I didn't want to be in this place, but my soul brought me here. I moved to Pennsylvania to move out, to be out in the country, to be off grid, to be around, away from all the NPCs, to be away from all this crazy shit. And then my soul brought me back here so that I could do my mission, because we have certain missions in this world, and yes, I question that a lot, if that's just spiritual programming, because a lot of the spiritual teachers and healers, I can't listen to any of it anymore. It all sounds like garbage to me. Everybody says the same thing. It's all programming. So I've been questioning, like, one of the things I've always say is like your mission. I always talk about your mission. I've been preparing for my mission for a long time. That's what the aliennetwork.com is all about, like helping indigo warriors prepare for and do their mission. And I question that a lot. I'm like, am I just repeating spiritual programming? And I don't know. I don't think so, but I still am constantly examining that. My views on this might change later today or tomorrow or what. I've been in constant review of that for several months, maybe a year or so. In any event, I have been brought back to a matrix city, which all the cities are matrix cities, smart cities in the making. And, it's a place with heavy EMFs and lots of this cancel culture and this whitewashing, lots of people pleasing that goes on. There's a lot of heavy programming, a lot of hive mind way of being. And I don't like being around it, but mission wise, this is my mission to be here with the people to see what's going on, for the stuff that I teach. In case you're new here, I have developed all these freedom classes over the last 4 years since the COVID started. And I was guided very strongly by Spirit, by Zeke, who's my star brother, who's a reptilian alien from Sirius, a high vibrational reptilian alien from Sirius. I wrote books about this. 2 of them are out now, which you can get on the aliennetwork.com. And I was told very strongly during COVID days that we want you to, or like you should. It's always up to me whether or us, all of us, you have free will, whether you want to do it or not. But I felt very strongly to start putting together material, writing material, saving material, government documents, videos, expert testimonies, and things like that to help deprogram the masses. And yeah, I'm talking about the sleeping masses, as well as help those who are awake go to higher levels in their deprogramming process and getting into their power, so that because I train people, warriors, to step into leadership positions in all areas of our world. There's a lot of corruption going on here, and it's not for just some of us to take care of it. It's for all of us to step into positions of power wherever our expertise is, but you have to prepare before you actually step into a leadership role, because then you're prone to corruption. And also there's many people who are in leadership roles who are passing on this false programming, who are supporting corrupt structures. Where I live is a land of heavy nonprofits. I've never seen so many nonprofits. I've never met so many people who work for nonprofits. The whole area is run by nonprofits. The whole area is run by the hospital and big pharma system. And the whole area is run by government too. So those are the main positions that everybody has here. They're a doctor, they're a nurse, they do something with pharmaceuticals, they do something for nonprofits, which is really just substitute the word government. Those are government organizations. That's who funds these nonprofits. And then they have government jobs, and people here think it's very respectable to have a government job, to serve your people. That's basically what everybody thinks that they're doing here. But as we who are awake know that there's a big dark side to that. So, if you don't understand, if you don't take control of your life and actively deprogram yourself, some lady was going a little crazy the other day. This was like a couple weeks ago, when I was talking about something related to these, we'll say, conspiracy topics. And she was like, I'm educated, not brainwashed. And I didn't say anything to her. I didn't say the brainwash word at all, but she just was like obviously possessed and all this pent up anger and stuff like that. The lady's a nurse. So, I mean, how do you not put it two and two together when you're seeing all these people in hospitals dealing with all these effects from the thing, you know? How do you not put that together? How do you not feel bad about that? Whatever. Some of them just can't see it. Some of them are not even real. A lot of them are not even real, simulations, clones, just totally clueless beings. Anyway, um, so she was saying, I'm educated, not brainwashed. But, that's a clear suggestion that, like, people just don't understand. Like, education is brainwashing. We're all brainwashed. Everybody is brainwashed. You're brainwashed. I'm brainwashed. We're all brainwashed until we're not brainwashed. I shared with you, hey, I'm examining some of the things I say, like, hey, you're here to do your mission. Are we really? What I always joke around. So, I mean, so just to finish that thought, I mean, you're always brainwashed until you actually do the work to deprogram yourself. And how do you deprogram yourself? You have to question literally everything about your life. And you can't just do it on your own. It helps, and it definitely speeds up the process if you're working with other people. It's also not enough just to watch videos online. Like, this is internal healing work. It's actually looking at how you were raised, the beliefs that were implemented into you, installed into you. You have to look at all these things. It takes lots and lots of time. It takes lots and lots of energy. It takes lots and lots of years, and it takes money too, because if you're working with somebody or studying, and again, that's how you speed up your process as well. Because at the end of the day, you don't know what you don't know. People walk around, I hear them all the time, I see them all the time. They think that they can meditate through something. That's how they become enlightened, by meditating, or by sitting in silence, or by doing yoga. Or no, or listening to certain fluffy spiritual teachings from spiritual people and light workers who their time is done. A lot of these beings, I mean, they serve their purpose, but they were heavily interfered with by the dark side and by programming. I mean, if you actually take time to listen to what spiritual people say, we're in a fucking cult. Like, this is a cult. Like, everybody sounds like parrots. They all repeat the same things. And so what I was saying is about the whole mission thing. Like, I always laugh about it because I always get this vision, and I've drawn some pictures related to it too, of like, because again, when I first moved out to Pennsylvania, I was living in the country, and I was around, which was a total new experience for me. It took me out of a lot of the programming that I had, also another level of it, because you're always going deeper in this. And I was thinking, you see all these cows that are grazing on the land, and there's a fence around them. They're clearly prisoners on the land, and they're clearly going to die. They're only living a certain amount of days, and then they're going to be ushered off. And it always makes me chuckle because the thought is always in my head. It's how my guides joke with me, which, even is that even real? The guides thing? Like, who the fuck are we hearing? Like, I mean, I know that it's myself, because that came to me a while ago, during this whole time of deconstructing the matrix more and more. Again, all this stuff really came to higher levels when COVID happened, and then when I moved out to Pennsylvania, I was getting so much rememberings about the matrix. And one of the things was, like, one of the days, and this was like early on when I moved out here, within like a month or two or whatever, I was laying on the ground in my backyard. And I rented this house. It was a very big house, also on like lots of land. It was awesome. It was a dream come true that I manifested that. And it took tons of energy to do that, coming from where I was, crossing the border, not knowing anyone in Pennsylvania, not knowing where to go. There was a lot of things. I wrote about it in my book about my move out here, which is not out yet, but it's written. It has to be edited and stuff like that. It's not time for it yet. But, I was laying on the ground one day and I was like, this voice that I always hear, I was like, who is that voice? Like, what the fuck is that? Because I used to always like think of it as like somebody was talking into a mic. Like, here I am in my avatar, like in this simulation. And like, it just always felt like there would be like someone who would pipe in, which I would call my guides. Someone would pipe in on a mic and say like, go do this, or whatever, like give me some direction. And again, like most spiritual people would say, hey, that's the angels, that's my guides. And I was like, but something happened again. Like I was getting like intense insights since I moved to Pennsylvania. um and again, since I went on this like homeless experience freedom journey for the last x amount of years that I've been here. um and I was like, what is that voice? That sounds like me. Because it's like that person is kind of like a little sarcastic, like funny, like quirky. I was like, that sounds like my voice. And I was just laying on the grass and I was like, what the fuck? I'm like speaking into a mic to myself, like saying whatever. Because like I was like, the jokes are the same. Like it's the same sense of humor. I was like, it's the same intonation that I have. I was like, that is fucking me. So you get it? Like, it's like me, avatar me laying on the grass. And then, like, I fully understand, or I was opening up to different higher levels of like, this is a total simulation. All this shit's fake. And I was like, what's the deal? I'm on a mic narrating to myself, go this direction, go do this. And I'm always joking with myself. So that's what it is. I was like, that's me guiding me. So that was when I was like, is there such thing as guides? Like, I don't even know if that's fucking real. I don't know if the angels things is real. Like, it was all coming to me. I was like, the moon's not real. The sun is not real. The stars are not real. I actually wrote about a lot of this stuff in Truth News. If you want to get more information on that, which is a publication that I started writing. I think it was in 2021 I started writing it. That was another thing that I was guided to write. So you can find that at thealiennetwork.com under Truth News. So all these insights were coming to me. So back to the whole mission thing, I sit with that. Like I said, I've been sitting with it for like a year now. Like I was like, is that mission thing really real, or is that just something that has been installed with us? Now back to this like cow example. And like what I always joke around with, again, like that inner voice of mine, which you can say is my guide, it's like my higher self, will always joke around and see these like visions of like how stupid it would be if cows were like spoke like spiritual people and said like, hey, are you doing your mission? Or like, why don't you grow through this lesson or that lesson? Like, it's the stupidest fucking thing. Like, again, if you're seeing cows saying this to one another, like one can look at them and be like, yo, your life really has no purpose. Like, you're just hanging out, you're eating grass, and then you're going to be killed to be eaten. So my mind goes in loops about these from time to time. Like, I'll think about it, then I forget about it for some time, and then like something else will come up about like, hey, doing your mission. And then it's like, like another vision I had was like on how like sheep are just, and it could be any animal, but like I've been around a lot of sheep too. So it's like sheep are put into like a truck or like a trailer type thing, and then they're like hauled off to be quote processed, which is like their nice way of saying killed. So they're like put into like a trailer, and then they're taken off to be killed, to be slaughtered. It's disgusting. But then like, I was thinking, oh, well, maybe that, like I had this vision that like the sheep are on the trailer and they're saying, oh, well, we're going to a better place. Like, we're going to go to a better place. And like, this is happening for our good. And like, they're like, oh no, I'm afraid something bad's going to happen. And they're like, no, everything always happens for our greatest good. Again, it's how like every fucking fucktard who's like a spiritual in the spiritual cult speaks. Now, since we've been programmed like that, like you start to see that and you're like, oh, it does end up being true. You go through bad experiences and you do end up getting better. But that's a conscious choice because you're growing through that. Not everybody gets better through these experiences. So it's like, are these sheep better off to be thinking maybe possibly in a delusion that this is happening for their greater good? That actually reminds me, on how like Christians and Catholics say on how like Jesus was killed and like he died for like the greater good. He died for our sins. Like this is all just fucking baloney bullshit, like it's just so I got to bring it back to the topic. I go off on these tangents and they're all related, but like, let's go back to this eclipse thing. Um, I was being guided very heavily. Hey, get ready for this. And I did a lot of different things, again, that you can download from thealiennetwork.com under Warrior Toolkit. You could click on the like prepping for spiritual people who want to remain positive. You can click on that and get clued in with some stuff. And I suggest you also get the triggered audio, what to do when something or someone upsets or angers you. That'll help you too, because you need to not only take care of physical preparations, but also mental and emotional. So I've been guided for several weeks, maybe a month, to start getting ready for this. And I'm talking about mentally, emotionally, physically. And then the last week it's been I've been sleeping a lot. I've been in other dimensions, just sort of like you could call it a meditation state. I've been really guided just to stay within my own energy. Anyway, there's been a lot of hype around this eclipse and all these different shenanigans going on related to it, on how the preparations, whatever the government's doing, and its minions. Anyway, um, I've been kind of questioning a lot, like, are things going to happen? What's going on? Um, again, everybody's weighing in on it. I've just been kept quiet around it because, everybody doesn't need to be giving their energy to this. Everyone doesn't need to be talking about it. And I even debated putting this out, like as far as like, should I record something or not? And what's the point of it? And blah, blah, blah. But what I will say is that um, we just had our inaugural. I don't know how to pronounce that word. Inaugural. It's Inaugural. Inaugural. I think it sounds funny to me. We just had that event, at least to set things off in my area with the whole New York City earthquake, the tri-state earthquake on today, April 5th. And what was coming through to me is that now shit's going to get real. And also the fact that these beings want to be known now. I think that it feels like they're angry. It feels like they're kind of, yeah, they feel angry and loud. That this one thing that I wrote, I post sayings on my LinkedIn account and also to my mailing list. I suggest you sign up for my mailing list if you want to get updates from me. But it says you denied their power and their existence, and now they want to be known. And that's a very real energy. And I think that the rest of April is going to be real fucking hairy. I think we're going into it. I don't want to put fear out into the world, but I'm also not going to not say something when it comes to mind. And again, I've been sitting with this for a few weeks. So this marked it, this earthquake thing. And I think that, well, what's going to happen is everybody's eyes are going to be opened, because it's interesting because even though conspiracy theorists have been mocked and this and that and denied, um, they want to put terror into people, and they are going to create, how should I say this? There are going to be events that they're going to make themselves known. I think that there's no hiding it now. I think people in general, people's intentions are very, well, maybe that's it. We'll just leave it at that. What I want to say is that, just to finish, I kind of feels incomplete, this whole brainwashing topic and the deprogrammed and I'm not brainwashed comment. A lot of people have questionable intentions, questionable objections, intentions and agendas. And I'm not saying that anybody is doing anything intentionally, being nefarious with their intentions. But if somebody is not in the place that they're conscious, and most people are not, and again, there's different layers and you're always going to deeper layers. But unless somebody has done the internal work, that person is not conscious. That person is not healed. And it's not enough to just do yoga or meditation or watch some videos or listen to whatever. Like, you actually have to be doing the internal work. And I can't explain it any other way. It's the stuff that I guide people through. You don't know what it feels like until you actually experience it. And it gives you highs, and it gives you very high highs, and it gives you very low lows, a lot of dark nights of the soul. And it's not something that is, I guess, appealing to a lot of people, because how do you actually market that? Like, hey, come explore your dark side and your shadow and heal your childhood wounds, um, so that you can go through more pain. And people are like, I don't want to go through more pain. I just want to stare at my smartphone and my smartwatch. Um, and I want to have pleasure and indulge in other addictions that I have, like, eating and watching TV and watching the internet and distracting myself like fucking crazy. I mean, that's another thing that I've been doing very heavily the last 3 weeks, more intensely. This is my work also, of helping people clear addictions, but it has come to my attention, like, hey, Blaire, you're getting a little bit too much on this side of things, as far as like the addiction side, and we need to be clearing that out and step more into mastery again, because I already am in a space of mastery. But like, hey, get back. You got to get back onto like your discipline of like your routines and what are you doing here. You've gotten like a little bit lazy with some things because, hey, we all sort of go into a place of wanting to check out, and numb ourselves of whatever we're feeling. It's not comfortable feeling feelings. But what I'll tell you is, every time people come to me, they say, I've been on this spiritual path for a long time, and I feel into their energy field, and I start doing exercises with them, giving them channeled guidance and spiritual teachings, and it's really like the journey has just begun for them. And that's fine. Again, we start where we are, and we're always going deeper. But let's go back to this different agendas thing. So, people might want to help and do their mission in the world, but you're not you're not going to be able to be in a place to be able to help unless you actually are doing the work. It's a full-time job. I know it's not what you want to do. I know it's not how we've been programmed to be. We have been programmed in the matrix to be chasing money. We've been programmed in the matrix to be getting a job and then giving our soul away to have that job, so that you become very robotic and you don't show your emotions, you don't share your true feelings and your thoughts about things. You pretend like you like everybody or you're nice to everybody. And I'm not saying to be a dick, but they turn people in this corporate environment the way that it's been, which is coming crashing down too, is they have taught people to be like robots. And the irony there, or the funny part there, is that now everybody who has jobs working for corporate is actually in the process of being replaced, if they have not already been replaced, by AI, by actual robots. And then what's going to happen is that all these beings, quote humans, are going to be out of jobs and shit out of luck because they actually don't know how to be humans. They're not connected to their soul. And when you're not connected with, because all these years you've got all the programming to clear out the soul parts of you, the parts of you that make you actually human. Again, going into like that, being a people pleaser, being very politically correct, not posting on social media or saying in the office where you stand about things. Don't talk about politics. And I'm not saying again to go talk about politics, because politics is a lie. But it's you don't share that. It's divisive. You don't share those things. That's wrong. You're going to get people not liking you, and you have all this heavy programming installed in you. But what's happening is, again, so these beings are getting popped out of corporate. And if it hasn't happened to you yet, just wait a couple years. You're going to be out of a job, because that's how this crypto is set up, as well as the robots, to be running this world. And then because people have not taken the time to actually develop their soul, to heal themselves, when you heal yourself, you step into your superpowers. One of your superpowers is your intuition. Another one of your superpowers is telepathy, to be able to communicate through one mind to the next without speaking, to just know things. All these psychic gifts are our natural superpowers. Now, if people have not done their inner work, and again, this takes years and lots of time and money to do, if people have not focused on this, well, they're not going to be in their superpowers. So they're not going to be able to step into their missions. They're not going to be able to do they're not going to be in their power, their personal power. So they're going to be shit out of luck, because all what they've been trained to do and all they've been trained to be is like a robot. So, that's what I was working on this morning. I actually have a new class put up for Pennsylvania, the area where I'm currently living, that I'm teaching about how to heal people-pleasing programming. I'm doing a workshop for a couple of hours locally. If you're interested in something like this, let me know. If you're not in this area, maybe I will put it online as well, to make it available for everybody everywhere. I've just been really desiring to not be on the computer and to be with people and do activism in person. Like, that has happened for me. That's been activated very strongly for me since COVID. That I was feeling like, hey, let's do less online and more just locally. That's where we can make an impact, and that's where we create a ripple. So what I was going to say, final note about people's agendas and intentions: if they haven't healed themselves, their intentions are not pure, and they are most likely are not conscious of what their intentions are. So I'm not saying that they're doing anything malicious or whatever, intentional, but unless you've done a lot of healing work on yourself, like, you're not actually aware of what your intentions are, you're not clear on them. My intentions are to bring higher consciousness into this world, to empower people, and to deprogram people, which is part of the empowering people. That's it. I want people to be able to step into their power. It's actually the slogan of the Alien Network, putting you into power. That is my focus. That's what a lot of my lessons, probably all of them, have been about in my life, about learning how to get into my power, and how to step into being more powerful. That is my intention. I want people to be powerful. Our world does not really like when people are powerful. I'm talking about true personal power, not like being a dick bossing people around, like what we see again in corporate or government, trying to control people. I'm talking about actually honing your personal power, being strong in your energy, and in your self mastery. We are programmed, we are trained to be weak. We are programmed, we are trained to give away our power. Um, yeah, we're programmed and trained to be victims. That's why you see 1,000,001 victims out these days yelling about this this certain demographics rights, and that other demographics rights, and rights for this country and that country. And I'm sure you could just fill in the blank with X, Y, and Z. It's the world of victims, the world of disempowered beings. And yeah, so that goes back to like my mission talk and whatever. I mean, I feel strongly that that is my mission. I'm still continuing my experience of questioning the whole idea of having a mission, and how that story may have very well just been implanted into me and others of us who have that belief that we are here for a mission to help humanity. Which humanity doesn't even exist. Again, if we're in a simulation, which I do believe we are, if we're in this video game, all this is just a configuration of our minds. The simulation structures and restructured based on what we're thinking. At the end of the day, it really has nothing to do with empowering anybody. According to my mission, deprogramming and putting people into power. It's about me. That's it. I put myself into power. But I will tell you, when you put energy out, it is very enjoyable when you're doing your mission. I'm talking about that. You can sit in a place, be upset, scared, nervous, paranoid, in fear, whatever, about what's going on in the world. But when you step into a place that you're doing your mission in the world, that you're taking action, it feels fantastic. You feel more powerful than ever, to be able to use your energy and to be shifting. And I actively see how the simulation shifts for me very frequently based on what I'm thinking, what I'm doing, what I've healed within myself. And this happens on a daily, hourly basis, because this is the playground that I play in. This is the energy that I play in. So if you are interested in learning on your own, on the aliennetwork.com, there's lots of audios, and they all share things for you to think about, journal about, do exercises about. If you are feeling the call to gather a group, all you need is 6 people as of right now to do an online class. I will teach you one of the freedom classes, one or several of the freedom classes, which you can find at thealiennetwork.com, and click on freedom, and you'll see some of the many classes that I have developed over the last 4 years to be in service of humanity, to help you step into your power. So, I'm here to develop leaders to step into power positions here, to lead in truth, honesty, integrity, and for the good of all. That's what these trainings are about. Yes, there's information and education about what's really going on in the world, minus the misinformation and the disinformation. But it's a lot about deprogramming, looking at the thoughts that we have had instilled into our brains that are incorrect, that put you in a weak place, that keep you out of your power. So That's what I'm raising, an army of warriors to positively change this world. And if that calls to you, then I suggest and I strongly request that you reach out to me and start getting involved and doing work here with me to help change our world. You know, complaining online, posting online, protesting, being upset by yourself, um, talking to your maybe family member or friend or whatever. I mean, I know no one who's awake. I mean, there are varying degrees of awakeness here, but at the end of the day, this is a place in the area I live. They don't do personal growth. They don't understand that. They don't do it. It's very fluffy stuff if they do anything. Even the people who are into yoga, they don't do the personal growth. Not the work that I do, the healing of the childhood wounds. Look, it's not pretty. It's not pretty, but it helps. That's why when someone's holding your hand and guiding you through it. So that's what I do with these freedom classes. I hold your hand collectively with other people in your group. And I'm like, let's go through this. Let's work through these exercises, work through this 1 week. I come back next week. We work on the next class, new material, new healing, more power for you, more self mastery. So you can sit in the gunk for as long as you want. There are those of us out there that are actually doing it, actually making waves in this world. And I look forward to you joining thealiennetwork.com. Bye bye.